Welcome back. The Pink Palace Museum, also known as MOSH, the Memphis Museum of Science and History, has an exhibit that highlights African American history from the Jim Crow era to today. ABC 24's Alicia Renee has more on what you can see and experience there.
Ridicule, shame, and control are all words written throughout this exhibit displaying blatant racism. I spoke with the exhibit's local director, and she says that this exhibit's sole purpose is about education.
What do you know about Jim Crow?
I mean, really, I have nothing. I just know about like the Racism Act and like the Civil Rights Act, but that's it.
The exhibit, called Overcoming Hateful Things, features about 150 pieces of Black memorabilia, some of them disturbing, even violent. But as the director explains, it's also a story of resilience.
Overcoming Hateful Things is an exhibition that showcases about 150 objects of Black memorabilia. And some of these objects are triggering, some of them are offensive, some of them are violent. Even while we're showcasing these kinds of artifacts, it is a story of overcoming.
The museum chose this exhibit 2 years ago to shed light on parts of African American history that often go untold. Nundy says the exhibit's creator, Dr. David Pilgrim, wanted to highlight a forced resilience because after slavery, Black Americans weren't given the chance to tell their own story.
Jim Crow is the stage name of Thomas Rice, who in 1828 dressed up as a Black man and performed. The stereotype, this caricature, became so popular that there were many copycats to this. And that's how this term Jim Crow comes into being.
For visitor James French, the term Jim Crow means more than a character. It represents a system.
Jim Crow was the institutionalization of laws and policies in the United States that made Black people and people of color second-class citizens, specifically in the South.
Nundy says Jim Crow laws were designed to instill fear and maintain control, and this exhibit shows how that legacy still lingers.
The Jim Crow era happens after Reconstruction, when white Americans are threatened by the rising power and agency of African Americans, and that's when Jim Crow laws come into being. They are a way to ensure that African Americans are not able to threaten white dominance.
While the civil rights movement helped end legal segregation, Nundy believes the impact of Jim Crow is still felt today, especially as DEI programs face pushback. She says now is the time to reflect on the past to prepare for what's next.
History is not just about triumphant moments of joy and pride. History is also complicated. It's messy, it's uncomfortable, and one of the things that's important to learn from history is that it's these uncomfortable moments in which we learn who we are and who we want to be in the future.
And that legacy, she says, still shapes how we interact, even online.
Even in social media today, the legacy of Jim Crow exists. The ways in which human beings interact with other people is often devolves into talking about race at some point and becomes racist. And this is an exhibition that encourages us to think about that type of approach to our interactions,
This exhibition displays Overcoming Hateful Things, and they will be here until October. When you do come and take the tour, you have the option to write what you think it will take to create change. At the Pink Palace Museum, I'm Alicia Renee.